So after Shakur Stevenson beats Jamel Herring, there's been a lot of talk about who beats Shakur Stevenson. Who beats him? We got a lot of guys at 130. We got a lot of guys at 135. So, and a lot of people believe Shakur Stevenson is unstoppable. He's grown into his man strength, which he is. Did you hear those punches he was landing on Jamel Herring? He's definitely grown into his man strength. It's coming. He's not even in his prime yet. So this is this kid is dangerous. But I also had to throw in, as I said in the post-fight thoughts, that he hasn't really even been tested all the way yet. Jamel Herring was a step up. He just happened to me. He was a slight step up. He was just somebody that just had the belt. Reason why I mean he was a slight step up is I never thought Jamel Herring was somebody that really was like a shockingly great fighter or nothing like that. He was just good enough, in my opinion. Shakur was supposed to go in there and do what he did. This was not a challenge, and at least I don't think it was. This was not a real challenge for Shakur Stevenson. I think, honestly, from 130 to 135, he gives a lot of people problems and beats most. There are some that I would like to see him in the ring with, and I will also bring him some dudes that people brought up, and I said, no, they're not beating Shakur. And I'll explain it right now. So we're going to start at 130 pounds. We got Oscar Valdez. Shakur's been calling him out for some time now. He's been trying to avoid that fight. Oscar Valdez is the new WBC champ after knocking out Miguel Berchelt. So Shakur's been calling him out. Shakur now has a belt, so his stock has risen. Oscar Valdez has a belt. And the thing is, though, from what I'm hearing, we'll wait and see if it's actually confirmed as true. From what I'm hearing is Emmanuel Navarrete is moving up to 130 pounds, and he's gonna get the fight with Oscar Valdez. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Wow, like, here we go again with this shit, man. Here we go again with the bullshit, man. I don't like bringing up race, but it's just weird shit going on with boxing. You got Stanionis gets to skip ahead of Boots Ennis to get a title shot when Boots been putting in all this work, and he get a chance to get a title shot over Stanionis gets a shot at who is it, man? Who's Stanionis supposed to fight again? Is it Ugas? Come on, man. So it is what it is. But Oscar Valdez will get smoked by Shakur Stevenson. It's just my opinion. Valdez has some speed, yeah. He's worked on his defense. Reynoso, shout out to him. But Shakur Stevenson's offense and defense is on like a whole nother level, man. I just don't think Oscar Valdez has it. I don't care if he's juiced up to the max. He still ain't fucking with Shakur Stevenson. So you could pretty much, if there was a fight tomorrow, Shakur Stevenson would have unified and had the WBO and the WBC belt. Period. Point blank. No question about it. Also at 130, we got Chris Colbert, my fellow Brooklynite. Now, a lot of people been bringing up Chris Colbert fighting Shakur Stevenson, especially after this fight. And, a lot of people say, well, they'll never fight because Chris Colbert and Shakur Stevenson are cool. If y'all don't know by now, Shakur Stevenson is a fucking dog, man. He don't care if you his friend. Now, he done said shit like this in the past. Like, yeah, we ain't friends when we get in that ring. Yeah. So if it came to it with a Chris Colbert fight, Shakur Stevenson will get in that ring with Chris Colbert with no problem. So I'm not even worrying about that. All that friendship shit, I wouldn't, I ain't, when it comes to Shakur Stevenson, you ain't got to worry about that. Nah, we friends, so, I don't really, I don't care if it was Richardson Hitchens. He would probably fight him too if it came to it. So that's just the way it seemed like Shakur Stevenson's built. Chris Colbert fight will be rather interesting. That's one I definitely want to see. And that's a fighter I think will give Shakur a run. Chris Colbert is slick. As far as the power goes, I would have to after seeing Shakur, bro, I would have to give the power edge either right up there with Chris Colbert, or I would say he edges out Chris Colbert in the power as of now. A couple of fights back, I would have gave Chris Colbert the notch up on the power. But Shakur Stevenson looks like he's been working on his power, or either he's been lulling us all to sleep on purpose because he felt like he knew that competition he's been facing wasn't really worth pulling all the tools out the bag. Maybe that could have been it. You know, maybe that could have been it. It very much well could have been it, man. I been knew he had other tools, and I'm like, I know when he's fighting Nakatila, I'm like, okay, but he's honest. Shakur's an honest dude. He said, yo, this dude got power. You know, I wasn't trying to get hit by that power. Listen, this is boxing. You adjust to who your fighter is, man. When it comes to certain dudes where they're a threat, they know that power is a threat. A boxer will adjust to that. A pure boxer or a boxer puncher or whoever, they will adjust to a straight puncher or somebody like that, or even a boxer puncher. They would adjust. So Shakur Stevenson, he was smart for doing what he did. And you got to think about this for 1 minute. This Nakatila dude had all his power. Shakur still dropped him. He dropped him. I don't hear many people talking about that. Shakur Stevenson still dropped this dude. So he couldn't have been that scared to really put him down, the way he put him down. Had him wobbly and everything. So when it comes to Chris Colbert, it'll be a rather interesting fight because when two slick fighters are fighting each other, they can pose some kind of challenges to each other, man. That's going to be a good fight, man. I have to see. That's one on the list that I have to see. Chris Colbert versus Shakur Stevenson at 130. That'll be a headbanger, a great fight. Good promotion because you got Chris Colbert from Brooklyn. You got Shakur Stevenson's from Newark, New Jersey. So right across the water from each other. New York, New Jersey rivalry right there. Or, not sure how it would really turn out, how they would promote it because, they're supposed to be cool. I don't think he hangs with Chris Colbert like everyday type stuff. But that would be a dope fight. Interesting. And Chris Colbert ain't coming to lay down. Shakur Stevenson ain't coming to lay down. We got two dogs with similar, not styles, but similar, attributes. Boxers, pure boxers. Move around, great foot movement. Defense is good. I would have to give Shakur the nod on the defense. Absolutely, hands down. But that's still going to be a great fight. I don't know who will win that fight. That's why that's somebody I think will challenge Shakur Stevenson. Also at 130, you got Emmanuel Navarrete. Well, I'm going to say at 130 because he's on his way up there. Because I'm hearing that he has, like I said, he's getting a fight with Oscar Valdez. So you can put him up there right now, 126-ish, 130. He doesn't stand a chance against Shakur Stevenson. Not at all. Navarrete is too slow. He's too flat-footed. His defense isn't sharp enough to stop Shakur's offense. He, punches chance, absolutely. He has that sneaky uppercut, that weird, gimpy uppercut he throws that could cut Shakur, but you got to catch him. That kid has some, man, this kid has some excellent, phenomenal defense, Shakur Stevenson, man. Defense, I've been telling people about what defense is important, man. That's the most important part of that sport, man, of boxing is that defense, man. You got to know how to move and slip punches, man. You don't want to get punched if you don't have to, man. So I have to, man, that's going to be an awesome fight I'm sorry. That's going to be a shutout. I think he's going to smash Navarrete. Navarrete, yeah, he got the power. He don't have nothing over Shakur or something. Any of his attributes can't match anything that Shakur has. He probably has more power than Shakur. Absolutely has more power than Shakur. Right now he does. But I've been telling people all the time about this power stuff. Stop getting drunk off power. Power can get you but so far. You know, it'll get you places, but you gonna run into some people that don't give a fuck about your power, man. I'm telling you. I'd rather have skill and boxing ability and speed and shit with a little bit of pop on my punches than just straight raw power with no skills and shit like that, you know? So scratch Navarrete off the list. He's not being Shakur. Chris Colbert has a chance, in my opinion. So scratch Oscar Valdez and Emmanuel Navarrete off that list. Also, you got somebody at a lower weight class at 126. You got Gary Russell Jr. People have been throwing that out there, wanting to see a fight between Gary Russell Jr. and Shakur Stevenson. That'll be an excellent fight. You got Gary Russell, one of the fastest men in the sport. He's definitely gonna have the speed advantage over Shakur Stevenson. The power, I don't think he has the power over Shakur right now. Not at all. Shakur, in my opinion, I don't even think with Gary's speed, I don't even think he poses a threat to Shakur Stevenson. I think Shakur gets him, beats him up the whole fight. I don't think he stops Gary Russell. Gary Russell's a dog. I think that fight goes the distance. I don't see Gary Russell beating Shakur Stevenson either. Anybody else at 130? Let's see. No. The only one at 130 that has a chance to beat Shakur Stevenson is Chris Colbert. That's just my opinion. Everybody's different, just what it is. Everybody else, Shakur Stevenson runs through him. 135, things should be rather interesting up there. We got some likely foes for Shakur if he moves up to 135. And here's some of them foes. Tank Davis. That's one that's been thrown out there. I've seen so many comments on many channels of people saying they want to see Tank versus Shakur. Shakur will get handled by Tank. Tank will knock him out. I've seen these comments, but I'm going to tell you like this. No. No, 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 and no. Tank Davis, being as skilled as he is, has flaws, has holes in his defensive game. Shakur Stevenson, I can't see any holes in his defense, man. He probably have a chink somewhere because ain't nobody perfect, but I would say the closest to defensive to being the most defensively sound is Shakur Stevenson, man. One of them. Top-notch one, you know. Tank Davis is going to go in there. He's going to get picked. I think Shakur picks him apart round by round. That uppercut that Tank liked to use and he hit Leo Santa Cruz with, he's not going to get away with that with Shakur Stevenson. Shakur's IQ is too much for him to fall for shit like that. Gotta have IQ. And Shakur IQ at 24 is off the chart to me, man. So Tank Davis will struggle with Shakur, man. Yeah, he got the power and all. He's fast too, explosive. His footwork is not like Shakur's. He's not gonna be able to handle a lot of shit. Shakur's inside game, I've never really seen Tank's inside game like that. I've seen Shakur's in this fight and some other ones. Shakur has great inside game. So I think when Tank throws, Shakur's gonna block it, move, stick around him, plant his feet when he see openings. That IQ is like, I think Shakur got that IQ because I'm like that too. When I fight, I look at people, it's almost like some Terminator shit. Like I see different points on their body I could just hit. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you got it. The left is open right there. I see he's not guarding his chest. I can punch him right to the side of the head on the right here. I see all of those simultaneously, and I think Shakur Stevenson has that. Just like Floyd Mayweather got that weird sense, and I know he do. And I've done this in my fights, in my street fights, and every time I do that, I win. It's like I see, okay, I'm gonna hit him here. Like I can see the punches I'm gonna throw before. Like I see the openings for him, and I can vision myself doing them, like landing them shots. I'm serious. So I think Shakur has that same ability. So Tank Davis will get picked apart by Shakur Stevenson. Question is, if Tank hits him one time, hits him somewhere flush, can Shakur take it? We don't know. But the key word is you got to hit him flush first. And I don't know, man. I don't see Tank. Tank is going to get frustrated in there. There's a reason Floyd Mayweather, I'm telling you dudes, man, Floyd Mayweather don't want Tank fighting black fighters. And Shakur, he'll definitely keep him away from Shakur. I'm telling you, because Shakur, sooner or later, these guys are going to all bump heads, man. Shakur going to end up meeting them dudes at 135. I'm telling you. Give it like 2022. 2023, you probably see Shakur Stevenson up at lightweight. So Tank Davis, he has a puncher's chance, I think. That's it. He gets smoked by Shakur Stevenson. We got Ryan Garcia. Very strong, very lengthy, but no footwork. Chin is always in the air. Good power, great power. Good speed. He might, I can see Ryan's jab catching Shakur a few times, man. He has a good, pretty decent stick jab, but again, I'll say it again. Shakur is fast too. Maybe not as powerful as Ryan Garcia yet. I put a big yet on that. Emphasize yet. His chin is always up. Shakur's going to take advantage of that shit, man. Might even knock Ryan down. Remember, I think if the more Shakur moves up and gets older, he's going to get stronger, man. I see it. He has the frame, everything. He's going to get strong. Did you hear those punches? Did you hear them? I went back and I watched Jorge Linares and Devin Haney. Then I watched the Shakur Stevenson fight again with Jamel Herring, and I compared the punches. Nah, at 130, Shakur's punches sound harder than Devin's at 135. And I love, Devin is my dude. I fuck with Devin. I'm just saying, maybe Devin will grow in his man strength. I think Devin's younger than Shakur Stevenson, if I'm not mistaken. So he got some time, especially if he start working with Blu-ray, like Bill Haney was saying it. They want to make something happen with Blu-ray and stuff. That'll be dope. Devin will be a fucking monster. He'll be a beast. He adds some power to his arsenal. He'll be a beast. You don't always have to pull out your power though. See, that's the thing. These high IQ fighters, they know who to mix it up with. They know who to outbox with. They know how to do this stuff, man. The smart IQ fighters like Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, they know who to do that with and who not to do it with, man. That's called smart. It's not called scary. It's called smart. Figuring out the best way to get the win without taking the least damage. That's what it is. Ryan Garcia loses to Shakur Stevenson. He gets outboxed. He boxes his ears off, dude. Pretty much. Then we got my man Devin Haney. I think Devin and Shakur had sparred before. That would be another fight. Would be rather interesting, man. He's another one I think that might give Shakur Stevenson a run for his money. Is Devin Haney? Absolutely. Devin Haney has the speed. He's slick. Has good reflexes like Shakur. I think Shakur's reflex. Man, I'm just gonna say this: Shakur Stevenson, you stand Devin Haney side to side. When you compare they shit, Shakur I think does everything better than Devin. Devin is not too far from behind him, but I just think that Shakur Stevenson is very much more polished. His defense, that Jorge Linares shit, that would have never happened to Shakur Stevenson. Getting rocked like that would have never happened with Shakur. Nonetheless, it happens. It's boxing. I'm just saying, Devin Haney's it could have been a factor. It could have contributed to him trying to stand there in the pocket a little too much with Jorge Linares, and that's not really Devin Haney's bread and butter. Maybe that's what happened. But Devin does have great defense though. It's not as great as Shakur's though. So, but I still, nonetheless, I think Devin Haney can pose some issues for Shakur Stevenson as well. So, I only got 2 fighters so far. That's Shakur Stevenson and Chris Colbert, right there. Now we got Vasil Lomichenko, another one. A lot of people like to compare, like, okay, Shakur and Lomichenko. Lomachenko is another one I might give Shakur a run for his money too. Loma has excellent footwork, excellent angles, great defense, head movement, upper body movement. But again, as good as Loma is, defense has to go with Shakur Stevenson, man. That's a special little motherfucker right there, man. He is, man. After seeing what he did to Jamel Herring, it showed his skills. Even though he didn't get tested, it showed what other dimensions that he does have, that he is capable of. He hasn't been tested yet, though. And he will be tested by Chris Colbert. He will be tested by Devin Haney. He will be tested by even Tank Davis, maybe. But I just don't think Tank is on the level with Devin and Chris Colbert when it comes to the defense and the slickness. But Tank is slick. He's still slick in his own way. Tank can slip punches too. Tank is fast too. So I may have to walk that back, man, with Tank. I don't know, man. It's a hard one with Tank. I still think Shakur boxes his ears off. He's gonna move around and not be able to hit Shakur in certain places. That's what's gonna happen, I think, man. I still give him a small chance, but punch his chance, man. But the rest of them, they skillful enough to really beat Shakur on the cards or outbox him. Loma too. Loma's declining. He's going over the hill, but I think that's still a fighter that I'll give Shakur Stevenson a run for his money. So far we had 3 fighters. Let's just keep going a little bit. Rolly Romero, no, he gets picked apart by Shakur. Period. Might even fucking see the goofiest knockdown of ever. A long time, you never know. A goofy knock. You might see a knockdown by Shakur Stevenson of Rolly. That'd be something, huh? Rolly doesn't beat him. Who's at 130? Richard Comey doesn't beat him. He's too slow. Man, Shakur Stevenson runs through 130. Besides that one person, Chris Colbert, he runs through 135 with the exception of stepping to Devin Haney. But also, we got another fight I forgot to bring up, Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. That's a nice scrap. But Teo doesn't know how to fight on the back foot. If Shakur put pressure on him, controlled aggression, back Teo up. Teo tried to throw some power punches. Shakur, more than likely, he's going to see him coming, is going to block him and keep moving forward. And I think he beats Teofimo as well, unanimous. Just my opinion. But let me know what you dudes think. Who beats Shakur Stevenson at 130 or 135, or does he run through both divisions with ease? My personal opinion is no one really is going to see him at 130 or 126. I think he beats them all, except for more than likely Chris Colbert. Then 135 will definitely present some more challenges for Shakur, because there's other well-known fighters up there that have been doing knocking people out and doing their thing. Also, Mikel Rivera, the guy that he looks up to Muhammad Ali. He's another one I think will give Shakur Stevenson a run. A lot of people not bringing up Mikel Rivera. I like that dude, man. That dude is nice. I think he gives Shakur a nice run because he has power. So we have to see Shakur. Shakur, to me, is moving good, man. He's taking fights on. Shakur's not hiding behind people to duck fights and all of that. So I gotta see them fights, man. Those are the only ones I want to see. I want to see Tank and Shakur, Devin and Shakur, Chris Colbert and Shakur, and I want to see Gary Russell. There's about 5 or 6 fights I want to see. with Shakur Stevenson, man. But I'm gonna close this video. Let me know what y'all think. Who does Shakur Stevenson beat at 130 and 135 pounds? It's Rebel Life Boxing. Catch y'all later on the next one. Peace.